You ready?
A little context for our viewers on YouTube. Travis brought the lighting kit that's going to be used for a Tyga music video tomorrow. So it's just super lit over here.
There's no way we're not gonna use it. You know, we'd be idiots.
We're not going to not use it.
We'd be idiots if we didn't.
If you're an audio listener, I suggest you hop on over to YouTube. Check it out.
Debut Blues
in a fucking strip club.
Fucking vibes are A+.
Make me feel nice and comfortable.
I only throw on a Snuggie and like a onesie for special occasions. Today was it.
Yeah, it feels special down here. I'm not sure why, but it feels special.
A lot of crazy news today. Besides some baseball games going down, Mike, you decided you're going back to Utah.
Yep. Yeah, you know, these are day of decisions, more or less.
I feel like you just got back.
Me too, man. I know what you guys are thinking. It's not because I'm going to jail.
We'll get into your probation in a second.
Yeah. We are going back just to link back up and work. Dude who's making my album is out there. Charlie Handsome, he's a beast. Going out there to link back up with him. He's been living at the ranch for a while, working. He's made almost 100%. He's executive producing what I'm doing, but he's also out there. He's been kicking it with posts and making some ideas and shit. And so we're gonna go back and try to get some more work in, man. But it's definitely one of those places where you like, there's no way we're not turning up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be the vibe. So
I don't think there's a place that we don't turn up at.
Yeah, but
yeah, but like I'm saying, like when you're out in like a fucking mountaintop and like the fuck else we doing? You know what I mean? It's like when you go on a ski trip, like you booze. You ski and you booze.
I never been skiing before. Is that weird?
Ever?
Ever. Skiing with your bitch?
I've been skiing in the studio.
Speaking of skiing, Mike, what does your turn up entail now with your probation?
Yeah, so
That's serious.
we have just zero privacy in my life anymore because of this podcast. Yeah, so I'll be on supervised probation, so I can get randomly drug tested.
You're not
on the drug test.
I was thinking about it. It kind of feels like I'm back in school. Like there was always that little outside chance you get in trouble. Like you might get fucking chucked from the team or suspended or kicked out of school. So it's part of the fun, you know.
We got a P test waiting for you right after the podcast.
Steve, get away from the electronics.
If Steve's just fucked up my connect, I'm literally going to euthanize him.
Steve, keep it together, buddy.
Steve, don't listen.
That means murder him in a humane way.
Keep it together.
Mike,
I was excited for you. I was excited for you to
get.
get a probation officer.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Having him like roam around the house every now and again.
It's not that. I think maybe if I lived in Utah, though, that would happen. Maybe geek. Cop pulls up and fucking swing the door open.
Imagine for
What's up? The guy wasted playing beer pong on the deck.
And how long is it? It's 18 months?
It's 12 months.
All right.
Supervised. And then another 6 months unsupervised. So no drug test. I just can't get like arrested.
That's fucking wild.
So yeah, I feel like I'm back in school. I might go to the principal's office, guys.
Definitely getting high from that weed right now.
If anyone should, I would like to interject and say that if you're not getting facials already, guys, pause. If you're not going and getting facials, you got to start mixing it in.
Well, you made a statement the other day where you said LeBron talks about spending $1 million a year on his body.
Yep.
Which it's awesome, but it's also insane.
Right, and it makes sense though. He's the greatest athlete ever, and it takes that amount of preparation, and man, it's like everything you put into your body matters so much when you're an athlete like that. So.
I mean, his body's made him all that money, so
yeah. So and the same, that's the same. I mean, look, it's definitely something like. I mean, they're expensive out here, but you can you can even do it yourself. But bigger point is, guys, start taking care of your skin ASAP.
Skincare is huge.
The earlier, the better. I started late, but I noticed a huge difference. And like, even the lady that does it, she's like, wow, you know, saying that like, just because of putting the fucking actual effort in, it's actually kind of a vibe too.
I've noticed the older, we're all like 30 now, the older we become, the more like women we become in the sense of self-care.
And women got a lot of shit figured out that we don't.
I know. It makes me respect them a little more. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Kilmer, I love that this is your role in the podcast.
It's a man's podcast.
Yeah.
to our four female listeners, very sorry.
Nah, there's a lot of girls that listen. I get a lot of messages. From
No,
girls.
there are. We love the ladies, but honestly, like
I think they know you're fucking kidding.
I am kidding because, like, dude, it's hard being a girl. Like, doing all like I'm starting to like take care of my hair more. I'm starting to take care of my skin more.
Yeah.
I'm fucking like I'm 30. I'm starting to go white. I gotta fucking color my hair now. I'm like the upkeep is just getting like incredible.
It's taxing.
It's very taxing. So to all the ladies, we salute you.
It's also like time consuming. If they do full makeup and all the time they put into their
takes
outfits.
like hours.
I mean, even the bad ones, they put them in, it's not like you need, like, I like a more natural look, but I get it. You could swag it out and do it and crush it. Like, I don't think it's excessive. I think it's part of accessorizing, I guess. I was going to say it was, but it's not really. It's a vibe. I mean, I just could never, ever, if I was a girl, I'd be like, I don't know if I would be like super, like, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard.
You a tomboy?
Yeah, I don't know if I would wear a lot of makeup.
I'd be gross.
Shit takes so long. I'd be ugly little.
As a man, I don't even have the patience to shower every day. So forget about makeup. Like I'm clipping my fingernails. Like
your hygiene levels.
I'm brushing my teeth. I'm like, fuck, this is so annoying.
Your hygiene's a debatable.
I enjoy the shower.
Borderline acceptable. Borderline isn't.
It's just, I mean, whatever, man.
Shower like once a week on tour.
Oh, on tour, forget about it. Who cares?
I shower like twice a day on tour, just out of necessity, just to regather myself.
I shower in those horseshit bathrooms in the green room. The rain wreck. Post, I need some Crocs.
It's always a train wreck. It's always a train wreck.
I need some Crocs yesteryear.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So speaking of probation, you can't take a couple drugs now, which is pretty sad. Or quote unquote can't take them.
I don't really. It's not. I won't have a problem with it.
This lighting.
I could smoke.
I mean that's all that matters. But this lighting setting kind of brought back some ecstasy memories of mine.
Yeah, these are very ecstasy-ish.
I shared a few ecstasy stories.
These are ecstasy tones.
I shared the Bang Bros story a couple episodes ago when I was asked to audition for a Bang Bros scene, and
I think
that was a while ago. I talked about it a while ago.
I don't think there's an episode that goes by he doesn't somehow sprinkle in porn in some way.
It's not every day you get asked to audition for a Bang Bros scene.
Big porn.
Yeah,
guy.
It's my mistake that I said no. I didn't say no. I actually wasn't eligible.
Actually, who knows how it would have went?
I was on ecstasy. There was no way my dinghy was gonna work. I don't know if that happens to everyone. Like
everything's perfect. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. Could have been something you had to face. Like, think about the years we popped off and like you started being like, people would have came across that and just been fucking bringing it up all the time. Would have been hilarious. It would have been a great little icebreaker, honestly.
I would geek.
I would have done one by now if it wasn't like disappointing my parents.
Yeah, your mom would be fucking disheveled.
It would end her world and mine as well.
You think she would find it?
I don't know. I'm sure it would get passed around. People will send each
Somebody
other.
would say something, man.
We're doing porn. I would geek heavy.
I'd fucking bring the heat though. One of my favorite ecstasy stories, which was the early days when I first started out doing videos. I just took whatever fucking gig I could.
Shit.
And this was probably before I met you guys. And it was like 2011 probably.
Yeah.
This DJ from Philly or Jersey named DJ Scoops hit me up and was like, "Hey, Kilmer, you want to shoot a video for me? I'm DJing a fraternity party at Temple University in Philadelphia. I can give you like $200." And I was like,
"Yep,
fuck yeah!" So I'm like, "See you there."
Yep.
So I meet DJ Scoops and like the fraternity parties, the fraternity houses at Temple, like they're not fraternity houses; they're just kind of like trap houses in the city.
Yeah.
And
I've frequented many of those places.
You've been to many. So like the parties are like in the basement, and it's like an unfinished like grungy trap house basement. And DJ Scoops is like in there. Everything's like black lights, and he has a mask and it lights up. And
I bet DJ Scoops didn't really pan out.
Who the fuck is DJ?
I hope he's listening. DJ Scoops, if you're listening, I fucking love this story, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
I love it.
So before his set, we were upstairs with like the president of the fraternity, the DJ Scoops and me. And this guy comes in and he's like, "Hey guys, I got quad stacks tonight. You guys down?" And I'm like, "What's a quad stack?" And he's like, "It's 4 hits of ecstasy in 1 pill." And I was like, "Break mine in half." So I took
I would have put you on the fucking moon.
So I took a dub stack and and dude, the way this hit, and everyone was on ecstasy at this party, and everyone, it hit everyone the exact same way, and it was so funny because like you could tell when it hit someone and like they started feeling it. Is the first thing that happened is your legs would give out. You just lost motor skills and you can't walk for like a few minutes. So it hit me. It hit me when I was walking down the stairs to the basement. I just started fucking like rattling down the stairs. I like hold on to the railing and I'm just like rattling. I'm like, oh, it's hitting me. And then the second thing that happens is you just have to puke. Like 10 out of 10 times, everyone, the second it hit you, you puke and then you start rolling. That's like so everyone would be like, oh God.
I've been there.
Everyone's like, I feel so sick. And then they go out and they puke in the back and then they return and they'd be like, oh, I feel amazing. So I shot this entire video for DJ Scoops, just rolling my absolute dick off. Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of a vibey video.
Yeah.
It's still on my Vimeo.
I caught a little wave in there.
I'll probably, it's on my Vimeo. I'll probably blast it out.
Yeah, you gotta fire that tweet.
We'll blast it out on the socials on our Twitter. So.
Yeah, we we played fucking House of Blues on Bourbon Street. And we took a fucking Molly right like in the green room. Dude, I'm with my ex.
From Duke.
Yeah, like I dated a girl.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Let's just change her name, you know?
Sally,
yeah. I dated Sally at Duke. She was actually like a great person. Super.
Seemed like a sweetheart.
Super, like just really cute. It just wasn't, you know, it was way too early for anything.
Some
serious.
little Philly break your heart?
No, not at all. Actually, not at all. Yeah. So more or less, like I was just an ass, you know. I like was super immature and whatever. But Sally, what was my point here? What was my point about this? Bourbon Street. Yeah.
Bourbon Street.
So dated her like, you know, for a year in college, I think, loosely, and then ran into her like the fact like we have a crazy relationship stance because I was just like an injured baseball player when she met me, and like there was no such thing as like music or like, you know what I mean? Music like wasn't even in a fucking universe of our relationship. So she was just like, what the fuck is going on when I started like becoming a musician? And I wasn't really even speaking to her much, but like we linked up. She came to a show and it's a hilarious dynamic because it's just so far fetched from what we experienced. But we had a great vibe, great night. I took a fucking, with all that being said, no, we took and to put it, even like the even more hilarious part is I pulled the trigger on a Molly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's only a specific night. Like, I rarely do drugs an entire tour. Like, out of respect to my body for the most part. Like, I don't really do it.
But like Bourbon Street,
because we gotta drink so much, you know, and like it's just part of it. And like if I go ham and like stay up all night, you know, like that type of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on Bourbon Street, and like that's when you pull the trigger on something like that. But it's just funny. I was with my ex from Duke like years before. And we popped a Molly backstage. We just fucking yonder out to Bourbon Street. There's fans everywhere. I'm like, whoa. I walk out. I'm like, holy fuck. You know when like the lights hit you? Like we're in the green room at the House of Blues. We walk outside. The lights hit you. We're all.
I feel right now.
yeah, it's similar to this.
That's why I brought it up.
And fucking is me and Blue get out there like 30 seconds in. We look at each other. I'm like, yo, I gotta throw up. He's like, me too. Yeah, I'm like, we run to there's a bathroom like right next door. There's a couple fans in there at the bar. Run right by him. We both go into the bathroom same time and yacked at the exact same time. I didn't even know, like it couldn't have hit us at the exact moment any more identical. And then we just had a fucking amazing night.
Bodies are in sync.
Dude, remember Alex's face?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
our lighting guy.
Yeah, speaking of lights, our lighting like our LD on the tour. He
He was
got
so
down.
lit, bro.
He was on the psychedelics wave way before us.
Yeah, for sure.
But he would like abuse it. You know what I mean?
He was hardcore.
I don't ever like if I like for everyone listening, like I do really small amounts of shit for the most part. Not I drink a lot, like if we're talking volume, but like it's mainly microdoses. Even if I do Molly, it's like very interval. You know what I mean? But like I mean that's what I would recommend if you're even thinking about it or fucking with it at all. Just take baby steps, and that's usually the vibe I like. But my point was, what was my point? What was my point that I had?
Drugs are bad, okay? don't do drugs because they're bad. Okay?
Oh yeah. Alex would just do like, dude, I did like fucking 10 tabs. Like if I did 10 tabs, like I would never ever do that. You know what I mean?
You could just see it in his eyes.
People do that.
A little bit of him was lost.
Yeah. I mean,
Before a show.
but
Great guy,
he would
though.
say the same thing though. Like take him to places where you just like
It's
he's able.
it's very circumstantial. Drugs are so circumstantial.
Yeah, it really is for sure.
Great guy.
Yeah, good guy, good heart. He's got a good heart.
Great dick on his shoulders.
Great dick on his shoulders.
So anyway, shout out DJ Scoops. That was a fucking awesome time in my early days. It's funny, Molly like wasn't really a thing when I was in college. Was it for you guys?
No, I
Was it
didn't
for
do.
you?
I didn't do one drug in college.
First time I did it was at a casino, and I was tripping balls. It was insane.
Everyone was
with
taking.
Robbie, right?
No, I ran into a random friend from high school
You
in the
just took drugs with
bathroom,
him?
and he's like, "I always wanted to do Molly," and he had it on him. And
All right.
I fucking woke up 24 hours later, like an hour away from my house, just tripping out.
Yeah.
Good times. I got kicked out of club before this happened.
Those
For
substances really they can whack you. you know?
Okay. All right. Last rolling story. I was my 25th birthday. I was on tour with Kendrick Lamar and Steve Aoki, and it hit my 25th birthday hit or 25th I think. Yeah, hit while we were on the road in I don't know some city, and we just decided. I was on tour, like the production team. There was another girl whose birthday was the day after mine, so we both were like, let's just take a ton of drugs for our birthday and just go to the concert. I was supposed to be filming the concert, but didn't matter. So we just get super loaded. We go to the show, and one thing that Steve Aoki does is he takes like an inflatable whitewater raft, like big inflatable raft, and he like gets on and crowd surfs through the audience in the raft, and I guess like someone told him it was our birthday, so he was like, when it came time to that like happening, he's like, hey, you guys want to go on the raft tonight? And I'm like on fucking a different universe at this point, and I'm like, yeah. Talk about a fucking body high, just like being in a fucking raft with like this chick.
Yeah.
Crowd surfed through like 10,000 people.
You guys had a little wave too, didn't you? You and the girl.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know how much I can speak on it, but
What does it even matter at this point?
we had a vibe. She still comes to all. You remember? I mean, she's
Yeah, she's cool. She's wild.
She's
Came to the
wild.
Seattle show, right?
She's even a little wild for us, but she comes to all our shows in Seattle.
Speak for yourself.
Do you remember the time when we were in New York City and she came to hang out and we took her to a strip club and she just ran on stage and started stripping?
Yeah.
When we say strip
remember
club, like the illest strip club, like a legendary. My boy owned it. Like it's like one of the best spots. Flash dancers.
It was a classy joint. This was
Or it wasn't Flash Dancers. It was
Private
other
Eyes.
spot.
It was Private Eyes.
It was a vibe.
It was
That
Private
place,
Eyes.
the vibe. What the hell is the name of that?
Private Eyes.
Private Eyes.
Private
Yeah.
Eyes.
I think they changed the name now.
But yeah, anyways, she's wild and love her to death though. She's a good friend. Right now, she's still a good friend.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
All right, guys, let's cut the shit for a second. Now, you might have your summer body ready. You've been working out all winter. You're ready to hit the beach, show the ladies what you're made of. Or maybe you've been like me and been a lazy sack of shit and put on a few pounds during quarantine, grew some man titties. Regardless, when you're unveiling your body, we want to make sure it's silky smooth, and our friends at Manscaped can help you do that. Now, I, for one, love this lawnmower that they have here. And it's unlike any trimmer I've ever had. And if I had a nickel for the amount of pubes I shaved off of my my body and my taint with this thing, I would have at least $17. I, for one, have very sensitive testicle skin. I've nicked it pretty much in every razor I've ever owned. This one, the lawnmower, it's got got some type of like plastic here instead of metal on both sides, and because of that, you're nick free every time. And another little fun thing is it's got a little flashlight on it. Isn't that something? It's got a little flashlight on it, so you can see what you're trimming. If for whatever reason the lighting isn't pristine in the bathroom you're in or wherever you shave your pubes. So our friends over at Manscaped are running a very special special where you're gonna get 20% off and free shipping. All you got to do at checkout is use promo code YNK. And again, that's promo code YNK. You get 20% off and free shipping. You ready? I bet you didn't know that, or maybe you do know, The Office is actually based off of another show called The Office, which started in the UK. But another thing you probably don't know is that there's actually 9 other offices based in 9 other countries. And we'd never know that because when we go on our streaming services, we only see shows that are available to us in our own country. But that's about to change. Our friends at ExpressVPN are changing the game. Now, for less than $7 a month, you can use ExpressVPN and you can let your computer appear in any country you want. You can geographically locate yourself anywhere you want. And by doing so, you can use Netflix, you can use Amazon, Disney Plus, you name it, any streaming service, and you can appear to be in any other country and watch the programs and movies that they have. You can watch all the other 8 or 9 offices. And it's super easy. If you go to expressvpn.com/YNK, you can get your first 3 months for free. There's just tons of other content out there in the world in all these different countries, and you can watch it anytime you want for such a low price. And it's a great deal. That's expressvpn.com/YNK. So get on there today. You ready? You talked about this, I think, a week ago about, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, how, a girl that you're not necessarily seeing, but like hanging out with now. And you were going to end things, but you both like collaboratively said you were going to have like a last hoorah, like little bang sesh before you like ended things.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that like 3 times now, but it's just,
like talked about it 3 times or like fucked 3 times?
No, I mean, like we've had that conversation, like this is the last time.
Gotcha.
And then it just kind of continues a little bit, but I think it's probably a wrap at this point.
You get your last one in?
Yeah. She's a rock star, man.
How was it?
She's a rock. She's super cool. Fuck with her heavy, super cute. Just, I said it out the gate. I was just like, I mean, I tweeted the other day, I was just like genuine, like, like the level of honesty we could just like tell people exactly how it is. Like that's the key to longevity in any relationship.
I know, you just tweeted that.
Yeah. And like in any relationship, like even this, a rare relationship, we like just kind of started hooking up, didn't know each other at all. Caught a vibe, hooked up for a long, extended period of time,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like from the very get-go, I said I'm not even dating, you know what I mean? I'm down to catch a vibe, and I'm just not. This is like didn't even ever explain it, but then like recently have like kind of explained it because she was like more or less like why.
She was inquiring.
She's more or less saying like just stop hooking up with other girls. We don't have to date, but.
That is dating.
That is dating. Yeah, she didn't really get
a girl's hit me with that before too, and I didn't fall for it.
It has nothing to do with her. She's a rock star. She's cool, very cool. And she, I think that's a pretty cool modern approach to ending a relationship. Like,
yeah, I've never done that before. I think it's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, and like the vibes are high, and it's not like when we bump into each other, it'll be all love, versus some shit where like. I'm like, oh, no, I won't hook up with other girls, and I just do it, and then she finds out, and then she don't fuck with you no more.
That'd be hilarious if like you saw her at a party and you just didn't talk to her once.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Have you ever seen that Black Mirror episode?
What?
It's like the dating one where like
it's amazing.
But do you know how they end it? Like they find out they have like some of them have like an hour left, and they just see
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the overall message of that episode was crazy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like the way you won the game is like you had multiple dates over and over with the same person, but like the people that were like willing to put their lives on the line and break out of it that's how they actually got to be together. Like that's how you actually
So you break
synced
the
up and
algorithm.
won the
Yeah.
simulation. You know, which was like really interesting.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones.
Black Mirror is some next level shit, man.
Next
Like,
to the lesbian episode, that one was my favorite one.
yeah,
The lesbian one was hands down the best one.
That one's so
There
weird.
was some great ones.
The San Junipero one,
Yeah, I fucked with that heavy.
yeah, the afterlife one. That shit was
Fucked with
crazy.
that heavy.
I don't know how we were gonna segue into this. I had a fucking really great way to segue, but I don't remember now. Do you remember that like bodybuilder chick I was hanging out with in St. Louis that one night? We were talking about Serena Williams today.
Yeah, and I almost said it, but then I just like walked up the stairs and said, I literally almost said, I'm pretty sure you hooked up with a bodybuilder somewhere.
Well, that's-
you're like, nah, she's too big for me.
I have my reasons.
Bro, she was
That girl
jacked.
was jacked. I don't even know if I saw her. I just heard.
Dude, I was right. I know she was jacked.
We were
I was
talking-
I was in the bed next to her. Bro,
Blue had a fucking front row seat.
Bro.
Blue, what was it like from your vantage point? What was going on over
I
there?
mean, I wasn't.
Well, I gotta set the scene first and
You were,
explain
you were-
myself.
you were busy with
Can I
the own thing?
can I explain myself
had-
first?
Yeah.
I want like you need to hear my side of the story. My
Yeah,
side
man,
of
I
the,
don't think I've ever heard it.
my side of the story is that Mike, were you with us that night?
Nah.
All right, well,
That was a train wreck.
Like a
I
big
remember
league-
that.
we were with like a nice group, you know.
It was an off night, wasn't
It
it?
was an off night. We were at like an outdoor bar, and like we were the group of girls, just like pretty chill, and like they just weren't. They weren't about it. They were like very attractive, but they weren't like the passion level was at an all time low.
I was with two chicks, man. What are you
I'm
talking
just they weren't. They were just like their vibe wasn't good. It was just a bad vibe. Like yeah, they were hot.
What night
and,
we
like,
talk? What night are we talking about? Thinking about the wrong one. 'Cause
probably thinking about the wrong night. They had a horseshit vibe, and I wasn't about it really. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get loaded on fireball shots and see where the night takes me. The bar's pretty empty, but I do notice out of the corner of my eye, a girl with just fucking pythons for arms, playing like beer pong at this outdoor bar. And I didn't
Are
know
you
her.
sure it was a girl?
Yeah. I was like pretty convinced it was a girl, and
oh man, she was
and,
fucking.
and like in the back
ripped.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, like it'd be pretty funny if like I just took her back to the hotel because like I don't know, just for the story, I was journaling at this point. I'm like, this would be funny for my journal.
He said I was journaling.
I was journaling and like I'm a do it for the story kind of guy.
You are.
And but I didn't know how I was gonna make it happen because I'm not like a go up to girls I don't know and start talking to them kind of guy for whatever reason.
I mean, she'd kick your ass. That's actually a decent level of risk there. Like, that
There is.
Jack.
But she was like, she was having a good time. And so she comes up to the bar at one point and she's like buying shots and she's like acting real friendly around us. And she's like, shots for me and all my friends. No one's spoken a word to her yet, but she just said shots for me and all my friends. And I'm like, oh, thank you. That's like really nice. Within like 2 minutes, I realized she's a Steve. She's like a huge Steve.
She's a fan?
She was a fan. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It just so happened.
That makes it even better.
It just so happened she was a fan. So I'm like,
Listen.
I'm like, what are the odds?
I'm dead.
What are the odds that A, there's a woman who is more muscular than me at this bar, and two, that she's a Steve.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's funny, man.
Dude.
At that point, it was like my obligation to
Steve,
Dude,
close the door.
I could write a
Close the
book
door,
about.
buddy.
I could write.
close the door, Mr. Steve.
Steve just opens the door and you hear.
I
all
was
the
telling
crickets.
Mike yesterday. I need to write a book
boy.
about our like hotel experiences.
Yeah, me and,
Oh my
me and yours.
God.
Yeah,
Bro,
me and
one
you.
time, one time you told me we already like hooked up with chicks at a party. We get back to the hotel. You're like,
Here we
"Yo,
go."
I got two chicks coming over, and I'm like, it's like 8 a.m. and I'm like,
It was a
whatever,
long time ago, by
whatever.
the way. Long
I was
time
like,
ago.
I'm down. You're like, yo, her friend's pretty hot. She's coming up. Bro, her
Back
friend.
in the days
They
when you
walked
took
in.
Kilmer's word on that.
Bro, they walked in. One had a whole leg brace on, like she was fucking
she was injured.
cast all. Yeah, she was.
That doesn't deter Kilmer
She was,
whatsoever.
bro, they were huge.
They say,
They were huge. bro.
beauty's the eye of the beholder.
I
all
sat
right?
in the tub, bro. I was so hungover. I was like hungover at this point. I sat in the tub for like a couple hours to ride out. She was not banging on the door trying to get me out there, bro.
I thought I was hanging out with a leg brace girl.
You were, but her friend was a train wreck, dude.
Whatever, man.
Kilmer's like, whatever, man.
So, anyways, long story short, I wish I could post pictures of this girl, but they'd just be mean. I don't want to like.
So how was the night? I mean, look, you were clearly
There were like
you
there
were
were.
clearly into it.
No, I was not. I definitely wasn't into it. I was very.
weren't into
I was very frightened the entire time. And right
Very frightened.
right as I was about to come to fruition, completion,
Completion.
whatever. Like the fucking door busted, and I think fucking Blue and like a bunch of people walk in, like when I'm just like right about to hit it and like finish, and it didn't.
Oh, what a train wreck.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
What a train wreck.
But
All that,
it
and you didn't
happens.
even get one.
I thought it happened.
Let one fly.
But no, like, yeah, we were doing some stuff. But honestly, like, dude, there were some situations when like I was terrified. Like,
Really?
Like when
was
she-
she like body slamming you?
no, like when she was on top, like she had traps like up to her ears.
Yeah.
And like there was a moment when like I swear to God there was a moment like her arms and traps were just fucking bulging and she let out like a low like a grunt. And I'm like what the fuck am I doing? Like what the fuck am I doing right now?
Oh my god.
So I had to switch things up and like I was kind of getting to like a little groove again and then fucking like Blue and these people fucking bust the door down and like
Like, yo.
One of these people.
anyways.
I know,
like,
I know exactly where I was with.
She was very nice though. Like nothing against her. She was just very, very in shape.
She stayed the night.
Fucking Jack.
She stayed the whole night.
Stayed over. And
We dated for 8 months after that.
that's funny, man.
Oh man,
Oh man,
I'm sweating.
Kilmer used
I'm
to be-
sweating right now. I'm just sweating.
Just thinking about it. He has PTSD from it. Look at him.
Yeah, no, I'm sweating.
Yo, Kilmer.
I'm gonna do it for the
Kilmer's-
story, guy. Like, there's no shame in
Nah,
that.
but
I mean.
Let it be known that
you're-
Kilmer also just has like a wide palette.
Your passion
When it
level
comes
for
to-
every single.
when
It
it
doesn't
comes
matter if
to-
she's a 10 or a 2.
Let it
your
also
passion
be
level's
known
the same.
that is not in my palate. That's not even close to my palate. I was just open minded enough
Yeah,
to try
but
it.
it's slightly in your palate enough for you to even do it. I couldn't.
I didn't enjoy it though. I didn't like it.
Yeah, but like your dick was hard.
For a moment, allegedly, it might have been. a little bit.
Allegedly, it might have been hard for a moment. Yeah, I don't know if I would.
You banged her.
There's a bigger.
You banged her. I heard it. What are you talking?
There's a bigger message to be said though that I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we hold on to that's the most precious to us are our memories.
Yeah, for
And
damn sure.
that's one I'll never forget. As grim as they were, that's the one I'll never forget.
Man, the tour chronicles are a whole different thing.
Is that one in the memory bank?
It's my journal. I journaled. It'll be in the book one day. It'll be right in the book. it'll be told just as exactly as you heard it here.
Yo, so I just came across this.
Dead.
Came across.
We
what?
have to make this a thing. We'll have to run it through Blue. But it's titled "Oreos Are the Man," and it's a book of
Blueisms.
Blueisms.
Oreos are the man.
Oreos are the man is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
We started
I'm a-
documenting
I mean,
them a couple.
We have
years
to go
ago.
through these. We don't have to do it now. I'm saying
You
we
have
have to
you
make
have them
this.
all right
We
there?
have to make this a fucking
book, an illustration book.
bro. Yeah, like cartoons with funny little basic drawings.
Just read a couple of them.
I don't know how accurate they are. To be honest.
They definitely are.
We wrote them down the second after you said them.
I love the state I'm in. I love my country.
That's like
I
genius.
mean, I definitely
Yeah.
said that.
That's literally genius.
If you don't like dolphins, you're a serial killer. It's true.
That's just a
mean-
fact.
It's not even cool when it's that hot. You're a big temperature guy. Huge
Bro, I'm
temperature guy.
sweating my dick off right now.
I'm hot, too.
Is it the
Are you guys
lights?
hot?
No,
I'm so
I
hot, bro.
I have to turn the AC off when we record. For the
That's
sound.
why I'm
Yeah.
so hot, bro.
Yeah.
I'm about to faint over here.
Steve, relax. Go sit down.
Yeah, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, we'll make the book.
Oreos are the man.
Oreos are the man.
Versace doesn't like Oreos. How weird is that?
I can't. That is insane. You wanted to talk about your one these days is platinum. I mean, we already knew that, but you had like a good story about the plaque because we're about to get the platinum plaques for these days.
Oh yeah, it is actually a dope story.
I think it's awesome.
The plaque is literally just a printout of the email. Like that's the design of it, and it's the email I sent that night to Leor Cohen, and who's I know, you know, if you're in the music industry or been paying attention for a long time, like you'd know who he's a legend, but like a lot of you guys probably don't even know who that is. But Leor Cohen's like just a legendary kind of label. What would you call him? I guess he's done plenty of things. He was the manager for the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Jay-Z,
That's
right?
where it started. Jay-Z, just tons and tons
a-
of shit.
yeah, he's a
he was
big
more of like
executive
he's like one of the most powerful executives. That's how I would put it. He's done like a wider range of shit. But he was helping when we dropped Closer. He was fucking with my manager, who I'm still with, and they like Leor wanted to help. after he heard the song, and we worked it to radio and shit. And he was kind of doing that. But yeah, I sent an email. They told me a story. Travis Scott. They managed Travis Scott too, and they were just saying how he was like wild, and like would just say hilarious shit. Like he sent an email. He sent an email to them saying, "Attack this with a new song," and he was just telling them like, "Make it big because it's dope." And it was just like with like 10 exclamation points at like 5 a.m. So I literally did the same thing. I want to say it was like the next night, or at least that week I made These Days, and I sent literally when I made it that night, I sent it to him, and I sent an email and I said, "Attack this" with like 10 exclamation points. It was a joke, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? Because
Did you have a feeling about that song that it was going to be special?
I did. I had a feeling I was making it. Yeah.
On your plums.
Bro, we made that on a Wednesday and dropped it on a Sunday.
That's incredible.
And we went in that Sunday morning before. This is when I was doing Sunday stud days. And we went in that Sunday morning, and like I remember that was where we like made the hook. Like, I just want to chill, drink, smoke. Like that was only a part of a verse. And it was just like this song with like no real chorus. And then we kind of like made that, thank God.
That was definitely like the first really catchy song.
Mm-hmm.
Like original song.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the remixes.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of remixes.
So what? So how does the story end? Like
Oh yeah, no. So that's the plaque. Like, I really didn't do jack shit for the song, but it went platinum. I like called my shot. So we literally made that the plaque.
So did they not think that was a song like worthy of attacking?
I mean, I was just independent, and like we didn't have deals in place. Like,
yeah,
we were working another song to radio, like, but the song just went and went and went.
Mm-hmm. Right
Crazy.
on.
But that's an amazing plaque.
It is, yeah.
Sure is.
No one ever forgets their first.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you would have thought I would care so much more, but that's like it's how it feels. I've had that experience so many times on this journey, and I think that's okay. It's just like if you're meant to keep going, it's never gonna feel like you've made it. And like hopefully you never feel like you've made it completely. I don't know. It's just like I really try to. It's a balancing thing, but having something to chase after is like kind of where all the best things come from.
I was just gonna ask, do you think these days the message of These Days and Keep Going are kind of contradictory?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
So like Keep Going essentially is like it's just the greater notion of like no matter I think they play off each other like actually perfectly. Like Keep Going is just like no matter what the cards in your hand are, like life will be a cycle of those, and like there will be times where it's really great and times when it's really bad, but like when you continue on that journey, like that's how you like it's really your only option to actually having a fulfilled life. Like no matter what you have, if you just sit there and do nothing, just sit like
stay complacent.
it will get dry. It's like anything else, man. So it's like there's also a balance of like you try to live in the now and don't fucking say no to your friends and go on a trip just because you feel like you have to stay and work. If you have that option, you know what I mean? Like you have to pick and choose wisely.
Yep.
But like these days, essentially, it's about capitalizing on the moments you're in, and that could be working or that could be fun. So whatever the moments that are coming to you in your life, like it's about like handling them and approaching them as much as you can, be present, you know what I mean? And staying, and if that's working for 4 weeks straight and making a crazy album because that's how it feels and you're doing the right thing, then that's handling these days to the best of your ability, And then it could be also like, hey, you might go on a fucking 10-day bender and have fun and do all this shit. Like a lot of the best shit a lot of amazing things have happened to me while I was partying,
Yep.
So I think there's
Same.
like there's a balance, and it is a dangerous game, and for people who don't live in this environment, it might sound like kind of crazy or like we're wild, but really it's not. We're just navigating there.
Go with the flow.
You got to go with the flow.
Power with the jellyfish, man.
Yeah, exactly. You really just have to be
My
able to
spirit
like
animal.
it's that feel shit. It's feel for what's going on in your life. Where are you? What are you supposed to be doing? I don't know. I think all the shit we're talking about is pretty consistently intertwined in the same direction. But yeah, it opens up and we just get wider and wider with what, I guess with like there's a lot of shit right now that, I feel now or I believe in now that I didn't believe in like 6 months ago or a year. I didn't see it the same way. So it's really a cool way of just like, if you're in the now and you're in the moment and you have an open mind, like that's how you continue to grow and expand.
We were just talking today about when we were watching the UFC fight, how like when they're fighting, they're in the moment, like as much as you possibly can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the
Gotta be.
stakes are so high, the level of focus is so high that you can't be like sitting there in the ring and being like, oh man, I think my girl is like fucking with this other guy. Like even like the worst things in your life. I think that's why those guys love fighting so much. They probably love escaping reality and like going in there and just being in that. But they call it the flow state, and I'm a huge believer in the flow state thing. And I try to like I really think it's the main reason why I meditate and keep trying. Like, dude, even now I haven't meditated in like a week, and I kind of feel like I've noticed it. I kind of feel like shit, and I'm more kind of like a little like slightly pissed off myself. Like, how do I let that happen? There's so many times, like 3 days in a row, I've been like, oh, I'm gonna come back and do it, and then I never go back and do it. So, flow state is like where that's truly these days that notion. Like you're right there in that moment. That's all you got. There's nothing else going on upstairs. That's what you try to do with meditation. Is just being in. That's being as present as you possibly can if you can clear your mind. Just be right there, and I think that's where like a lot of amazing shit happens.
Hell yeah. These days are the glory days.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever like on the podcast talk about exactly why you changed your name?
Not really.
Because I noticed I got some of those questions last week when we were opening up the hotline, and I don't think you ever really touched on it.
I mean, look, it's not like this pointed answer. This is something we've wanted to do for a long time. Even back to 4 or 5 years ago, I had mentioned it and talked about it a bit. It got to a point where I pushed it independently about as far as you can go. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but in my eyes, yes. Like the way we were operating, as an independent artist, it's about as far as we could push it, especially with that type of music and the sound I was on, and I went into this a few years ago now. We were decided on the name change. Wasn't sure what it was gonna be, but knew we had to make a sound. Like I knew I had to like craft out a sound. You started talking about it a while ago when we first started the podcast. How many ideas? I'm still making ideas because the sound has just been crafted over this time. But up to that point, as Mike Stud, I never had a time where I sat down and tried to create a sound. I was just, what are we gonna make? Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. Put a project. Cool, we're touring. Boom, boom, boom. Remix. You know what I mean? It was never like sitting in a studio and like are you the artists you hear about where you just go missing and you're like in there for 4 or 5 days a week for a long period of time, and that was the first time I got to do it, and that's where this sound kind of like started to make sense. And we went out to Joshua Tree, like listen to Casey Must and all that shit, and we're like, yo, I know what the sound. I started to hear what the sound should be, and then I started making that more, and then Post, me and Post, some of this can't be like, but like Post is a part of it too, saying, and my manager, who's like Post manager and a big time guy and respect, was just like, dude, with this sound and like this is the time for the name change. This all makes sense. Like Mike Stud has a ceiling, and I'll explain that. But Mike Stud has a ceiling here, and like he had a viewpoint that I couldn't get access to because he was having these executive conversations with people on the fly, like, hey, what do you think about Mike Stud? Blah, blah, blah. Seeing the genuine reaction from the who's who.
Yep.
And being like, oh, the college, like, white rapper thing, like.
Yeah, can't be that forever.
And like, kind of had this stigma. And like, yeah, probably could have just done it forever, but like things changed in the sense of, one, my soul, like I found myself not wanting to tell people I was Mike Stud. And that's a huge red flag for me. Like,
yeah.
In my heart, like I'm very proud of what I do and what we've done, and to have that be attached to something that like didn't sit right with me was really like fucking my vibe up. And then Post was kind of the guy who's just like, dude, you're the biggest Mike I've ever met. Like, I don't know if you could be anything else. Like,
Yep.
So I was just like, fuck it. And then we had some time, we looked into it, did some research. Like, also, you know, I'm doing this with record company. You know, it will be I'm gonna have an amazing deal, but it will be this will have an opportunity to have an engine behind it. Like, you know what I mean? There's a chance at like a bigger audience here. So like, you know, we looked into like Mike and the logistics and how unorthodox is that? Is it a problem with like SEO was an issue? Like, Mike, can you search that?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there are a little deficiencies in it, but like the pros outweighed the cons for me, and it felt right, and I just pulled the trigger on it. And it sucked because I had to keep it very quiet. A lot of people kind of thought I was like, you know, just like anybody else, like just, you know, like I wasn't inspired or I wasn't making a bunch of music because there wasn't a ton coming out, but we were winding off Mike Stead. You don't want to feed a fire that you're trying to put out, you know? So it was a test of patience, and then I also went through this like spiritual shit. So just, you know, like looking back, I'm so happy that I wasn't in the middle of this huge build. Like if say we were already through the mic phase and it was starting to go big, and then I go through these hardships and didn't get a chance to like sit here and read and kind of fuck around with meditation and do that shit. Like maybe I wouldn't be the same way right now or whatever. So that's just how you gotta look at it. I mean, that's how I look at it. I don't know. But it's achievable for anybody. Like I think that's a story I'm really hoping to tell. It's just like we played the long game. A lot of people definitely wrote us off, and nothing against those people. I have no, you know, chip or anything about it on my show. Like I get it, you know. Like I don't think the music had promise or whatever, and it was cool, but you know, there's a lot of things that have been improved upon, and you know, shit evolves. So that's the exciting part about the name change. What I'm most excited about. I just need my fans have been amazing about it. We've warmed them up to it. There's a lot of people like, why would you ever change it? You know, like, but they fuck with Mike Stud. So obviously the name and the branding and the whole stigma, it didn't bother you because you were able to be a fan of it. But there's no way of quantifying how many people were turned off by it almost immediately just by the sound of it. Never mind, I'm like a white kid from Duke.
Yep.
You know, it's just like there's a lot, and I just kind of have evolved as a person where it just didn't align. I think once people hear this music, they would be like, no way, it could have been Mike Stud. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It would have like this gives it a real chance to breathe and like be its own thing.
I think what was I gonna say? When you back to the sound thing,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like back then, like it was more rapping. There wasn't like a sound. No one was like searching for it. People were rapping way more.
Just punchlines.
You know what I mean?
There was a
It was
huge
punch rap.
like rap
Yeah.
was in like not non-melodic rap.
Yeah, like kind of flows and stuff. But it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
not,
then
it
the whole
wasn't like a
sound-
sound.
Yeah.
It happened
but like
a little later.
right. But I'm saying even specifically like being an artist that has a sound. Like I don't know if I really had a sound before this. Really, you could put a real finger on the sound. Where like now, like you will. You know what I mean? You'll be able to be like, oh, this sounds
I mean, I think a little part of that is the remixes.
a little part of what?
You did a lot of remixes, so they weren't original songs. So how could you?
Yeah, but I did a ton of originals too. Like they were just kind of all over the place, you know.
I mean,
But yeah, for sure.
Your sound was that you were a rapper, and a lot of
The sound.
Yeah.
being a rapper was a big.
We didn't even think about it, bro.
Being a
That's
rapper
just-
was the thing back then. Now, like how many like true rappers are
yeah,
mainstream?
no,
you know what I mean?
rap's kind of come and gone.
There are still
in that
there
sense.
are still some, but
No, but
like,
in that-
it's
in-
few and far between.
Yeah, exactly. That genre is now like a subgenre. But think about how big hip hop is now. Hip hop was always kind of this small subculture. Now hip hop is pop. Everyone in pop is trying to do hip hop shit.
Even the people that do rap have melodies. Like J. Cole has a lot of melodies.
Yeah,
like
like-
for a rapper.
Yeah,
you know
even
what I
like
mean?
he's adapted great. Drake adapted amazingly. Obviously, was a big part of the whole reason everyone raps the way they rap.
He still raps.
Yeah, I know.
Like on that last.
I think that's dope, actually. My gut, when I hear it, I'm like, you know, like I've heard these types of the Chicago freestyle one. That shit's a smash. Like when I heard it, I was like, I've heard this before from Jay. Kind of like I was rocking with what he was saying, but I wasn't finding myself wanting to play it. And then, you know, it's just I feel like that song now I could hear it in any environment and fuck with it. But like these are examples of guys, even Kendrick. Kendrick's last album was highly melodic for Kendrick Lamar. These guys adapted and like also kept their integrity of like being lyricists too, and that's why they're the top three.
Kendrick hasn't put out.
Yeah.
Bro.
I was just thinking that today.
I want to say he might be retiring. I heard it. I saw he launched a media company.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he have a kid? He had like a kid, but it's like super low key.
Yeah, I could see him being a dude who ducks out early. He'll probably come back with a crazy project though, you know?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
Logic retiring. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel anything about that.
Yeah, I mean,
No. I mean, he put up a fucking great career in 10 years. I was
I was
you
just gonna say, like,
He definitely smashed it.
he crushed it.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's honestly probably a great move, because like the style of music that he makes, right?
Mhm.
Like, how many times are we gonna hear those fast flows?
Yeah.
Like, how many? You know, like, he had some hits too. He had that Suicide song that was like that was a big song.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it created a cult fan base and monetized it and did it really well. Like, wrote a book. He smashed it. So my initial reaction was like, kind of makes sense. Especially he's not like a limelight guy. Probably just wants to duck off.
Think about
Yeah.
all the white rappers from that era.
He's half black.
But not him, like Machine Gun Kelly, all that. Everybody's that's still doing it, that's relevant, has switched it up.
Switched his sound.
Or stopped.
Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly more than anyone. Like,
Yeah,
think of the
I mean-
style of rap music he made. Now, like, completely flipping the script to like a pop punk artist.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
I mean, honestly, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
I'm just
I
pumped.
like it more than his rap shit.
I'm pumped that style of music is coming back into.
Yeah,
the
it's not
limelight.
even. It's really not my thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'll never put that on.
And it's
but
super my thing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just so pumped about it.
yeah, I just think he's impressive. You know what I mean? He's willed his way and like just fucking kept evolving, and it's impressive what he's done. It's impressive what he's done. You know, I feel like he knows that he's diversifying and he's trying to diversify. He's acting. He's
Mhm.
you know, he does a lot of different shit. He's into fashion. Does all like. It seems like he's, as much as he's a wild motherfucker, like.
Seems to have it together
Seems like
somehow.
he's at least got a good feel for shit.
I mean, he's dating
Yeah.
Megan Fox, so
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, he's great with girls, but I'm saying like that's probably actually yeah, like even his look, like, you know, the things that he's done, he's just going in the right direction. As just someone who watches, I'm watching from. He's a nice kid too. Like, I've hung out with him a good amount. Nicer than you'd expect. You know what I mean? Which is nice, and good dude overall. I mean, he's definitely got his battles that he's fighting. You know,
don't we
but-
all?
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Before we get out of here, Mike, what do you think about OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, I don't even fuck with it.
You never dabbled? Like, what do you think about
I haven't dabbled at all.
it? What do you think about it though? I'm sure you know people that use it
Yeah, I do.
and that put their services on.
I don't
there.
know why. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I just got a little bit of ratchet in me, you know? I kind of like, it's kind of like sexy a little bit. Like, especially if they're not being like too gnarly on there.
Mhm.
Like, there's something about it where they're just like that openly sexual. It's like, kind of fuck with it a little bit.
Think how mainstream it
Because
is
I
now.
usually get turned off by like girls who are like overtly like,
But just think how mainstream it is now for women to just monetize themselves.
yeah, I mean, look,
Doing shit like that.
How is it really any that? How much different is it really than anything else? So like, fashion models or like Instagram famous girls who are getting $20K for a picture just because they're hot.
Sex sells.
So it's just like,
Oh, I know, but
they got their titties in their ass and they're like drinking Bang energy drinks that have nothing to do with bikinis, titties, or ass or anything.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is like, sex sells on every level. So what, like, it's really not that much of a departure from a girl who fucking posts her titties and her ass on Instagram without just showing nipple. Like, how much different is it really?
it's just been further monetized, which I think is incredible.
I love it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, I'm kind of a proponent of it because, listen, we had this conversation. We're not going to talk about it on air, but about Bravo and like
Mhm.
this thing where it could be. But like OnlyFans, bro, this is okay. There's a proper term I'm not going to know offhand, but I saw someone talk about this. But this is the future of commerce.
Mhm.
You have services. Whatever you do, you make the best fucking tables or the best cake or the best beats. Whatever your talent is, you offer that service, you offer that information. Information is fucking everything, bro.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. Like,
And it's the most accessible thing.
so
now.
anything you're good at, even if it's having sex, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, right? People can purchase that skill. It's scalable. Could be thousands and thousands of people consuming it. And you could literally be fucking literally rich from just your apartment if you have a skill set.
Yep.
You could have fucking, like, bro, you could be making 10K a class.
Yeah.
Because you had fucking 20,000 people that wanted to fucking, you know what I mean? Who knows? These are high scale things, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, even if you're making an extra 3K a month, paying rent, that's more than a lot of people make.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, no one's slipping through the cracks anymore. If you have a skill set and you have a talent, or you have something to offer, you can monetize. You can monetize anything.
This is bigger. It's a bigger topic than anyone gets right now, really, because it speaks to a lot of the shit we're saying on this podcast about the education system and how it's dated, and that dude Naval talking about how jobs procreate themselves. You know what I mean? So like, everyone's like, oh, the robots are going to take our factory jobs. No, we're going to have a whole different, you don't even know the jobs that are going to exist. You know what I mean? Like, the jobs don't exist yet.
I know.
But we procreate jobs. That's what the trend is in culture. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, like, this OnlyFans is an ironic, like, it's already Patreon, like, it exists. But what I'm saying is, OnlyFans making it so widely acceptable and at least widely viewed.
Yeah.
People, like, it's on people's radar. Like, this is the future of commerce, and it's like the future. It could dictate like schools being obsolete, and like, because
sure.
you get good at something, bro. If you're the best video game guy, you sit in your fucking house and play video games.
Take it to the next step.
You're
for a
fucking
second.
multimillionaire. Bro.
Are you familiar with Masterclass?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So I took a masterclass with Aaron Sorkin, who's like probably one of the best screenwriters of all time, and I paid probably $90 for it. I got to like sit and have a virtual lesson from the greatest screenwriter of all time for $90, and it's probably 20 hours of class.
Imagine if it was live. How much cooler would that be too?
Oh, for sure.
Like, you could take in questions and like.
But what I'm saying is, like, for $90, I can have like
the best guy tell you.
The best guy, like, just spill his secrets, which is like impossible to think about.
It's
like,
incredible.
10 years ago, it's like to
It's
mention that they'd think I was crazy.
Yeah, it's the shit.
And I mean, what you're mentioning is about is asset monetization.
I'm talking more commerce for our total economy, a global economy.
For sure.
Like, a guy in India who knows how to fucking code better than anybody.
For sure.
Could be having fucking thousands of Americans learning coding from him.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
It's gonna make us
it's just an app.
It's gonna make us more advanced as a species, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. But it's so funny. It's so ironic that it's OnlyFans. That's gonna like.
But OnlyFans is more of like it's like asset monetization. When I say that, it's similar to when Airbnb came out. You could then take your home and you can turn your asset. You can monetize your assets.
It's more a skill though. It's more like
OnlyFans
a service. Like, look at me being hot as my skill set.
I see it.
That's literally what it is. Why are fashion models making millions of dollars? Because they're hot.
I know.
Do you think it got big?
I see it as asset monetization.
Do you think it got big?
I'm saying it's a way bigger notion to look at it as.
The bigger notion is like
what your skill is, what you learn, what do you have to offer.
Exactly.
And then that's all it takes to be rich. Be good at something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and what I'm saying is OnlyFans. Like, yeah, there's Masterclass. We're talking about the elite, the creme de la creme of fucking talent. This is more everyone in their house. Like, anybody can do anything.
Yeah,
Travis, could do fucking, literally walk people in through how to like edit photos and get a certain look and lighting.
YouTube's been doing that for years too. Just like people putting tutorials on YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube.
This isn't what I'm saying. It's not groundbreaking. It's more about the normalcy of like how this can actually change like how our economy operates.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Way less like businesses and corporations and all these people just like, yo, hit my fucking Venmo. I made $8K this week because I was teaching people how to, you know, like. I
mean, speaking of money, like some of these girls on OnlyFans, like at that party, they're showing like their account, and she's like, oh, I made 16 grand this month, and it was like halfway through the month.
Who was it?
And
you can beep it. $16K a month.
She said like halfway. We were at that party a couple days ago. It was like halfway through the month. She's like, I made 16 grand this month already.
Wow.
16 grand. So she's averaging $1,000 a day.
Yeah, get in a bag.
Get the bag. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's unreal that like that's available now. You know what I mean?
But I think.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Do you think it would be as big if this Corona and this quarantine stuff? I think this like it was at an all-time high.
Oh, I'm
when
sure it's higher.
quarantine.
It would have been successful regardless. But there's for sure a bump because people are just sitting at home and they're fucking horny and they want to fucking whack it. I get it. I've been there.
Also, like some of these girls don't have jobs because of the fucking Corona shit. So they decided to do that. Bro, I think I saw a lot of girls be like, I would never ever do this. But
I know it's like
I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I never thought I'd do this, but I'm doing it
also,
now.
Also, I want to shout this out, not naming any names, but I think you guys should participate. There's a Steve who she just had a baby, and her baby daddy just took off, and she started an OnlyFans to kind of like help pay the bills. You know, I'll give you guys the information, but I think you guys should maybe chip in, help Steve out.
Why not?
You know?
Why not?
That's
Sir?
hilarious.
I got the.
It's not funny.
Kilmer-
It's not
Kilmer-
funny.
I'm
at all.
just saying, like, dude,
help people helping people, but for Kilmer, it has to be in this lane. Like it has to be through.
I would've
that
helped-
really touches.
I
your
would've
soul
helped
that,
her
like,
regardless.
She has to get her OnlyFans.
I would have helped her regardless.
That's
I'm just
so
saying.
funny.
Those are the message that really pulls at the
Yeah,
heartstrings.
exactly. It really pulls at your heartstrings.
I'm like, yeah, of course I'll support you. Of course.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course I will.
The chicken dudes too, man. Like as soon as you pay that monthly fee,
Oh, we don't have to get into that. That's the whole. It's called the thirst trap.
I mean,
Do you know what
they
a
can
thirst trap
post.
is?
They don't have to be naked or anything.
Do you know
bro.
what a
They
thirst
just-
trap is?
Yeah, then people just
course.
unsubscribe.
Yeah, but they still got
No, I
that
know.
national.
But do you know
money
what?
for that
Do you know what
month,
the
know?
thirst trap is on OnlyFans? It's
They
when
just never give them shit or something.
it's when like you pay like a monthly whatever. It's like $10 a month. It gets you in the door, and like the post that they post, like it's like BS, like non-nude, like nothing's happening, like it's like nude implied, but it's not really nude. But then within OnlyFans, they can send mass messages to their people, their followers, with like a video that's locked, and they'd be like, "Here's a video of like me shoving like a dildo up my ass. Pay $12 and I'll send it to you." And like some of them are gonna like pay it. You know what I mean?
Probably most of them. If
And
you're
they do
already
this.
paid-
They do this every day. They release a video every day with like a little lock and saying like, "This is how much the video
for them.
costs." So they're getting the monthly. They're getting the monthlies
I
from
could
these
probably
people.
get a huge bag on there.
What I'm
Just
saying
show
is
my
that's
hog
how they're
on
making the
there.
money. They're getting the monthlies, but then they're selling these like one-off videos every day.
Should I start letting the hog fly for some extra bags, some extra vacays?
Oh, man.
What do we think, guys?
I think we can finally afford the boat if you do that.
Dude, it might be
boat?
the key to the next phase of our lives. Letting my hog fly on OnlyFans.
Let your hog fly. Steve, please away from the wires. I told you.
Steve,
He's fine, I think.
good boy, Missy Steve.
I mean, you can. It doesn't have to be like.
We're going down a rabbit hole we probably shouldn't go down. Mike's,
but,
Mike's
like-
contemplating selling his hog online. I don't know.
I'm totally kidding.
It's just-
But dude, like I don't know. Maybe there'd be a phase in my life. Like I probably enjoy it. Maybe I should. You guys should. I'm not talking about that.
I thought you was talking about that. I was like,
What are we talking about?
I'd probably enjoy it. No, I'm saying like there's like an obvious way of like if I were to show people like, you know, like how I would create ideas in the studio and like actually just make like little.
A masterclass. A Mike masterclass.
Yeah, like along those lines, like less official, you know, and just kind of like.
Well, I think that's going to be like what our Bravo account is like.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, I don't know. Like I would actually, I think I would enjoy doing that. I don't know if I would like, you know, there's just like you don't want to do it too prematurely either. Like
No, of
at
course
some
not.
point I would do that if it still feels appealing. But
Mm-hmm.
like I think a lot of people would just be interested and you could learn a lot from just like the idea of making songs and like there's a million different ways to write a song, you know, and just being able to share that.
Yeah. Honestly, like making music is just, I'm quoting you here. It's all about feel, honestly.
Yeah.
It's when you make a song, there's like probably 500 little tiny decisions you have to make. And, you know, a good song will be if you like hit 80 of those on the nose or more. And then some days you'll hit 10 of those on the nose and it'll suck and like, you'll hate it. And it's just about like attacking those little and it's that you can't teach, honestly. And that's what sets the great apart from like the not so great.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to like I've just like learning how to do it myself in the sense of like I've kind of eliminated that aspect because I go step by step in a sense where like I do these freestyles and these passes, but like there's a lot less pressure on like, oh, I gotta hit 80% of this for this to be a good song. Like,
Oh no,
what I'm saying, no,
yeah.
you're exactly
I was
right.
speaking generally.
You're exactly right.
Speaking
But what I'm
generally.
saying is even on a bit like just an approach standpoint, this is kind of what I was talking about. Like you could explain these types of things and why I think that.
Yep.
But like I have way less pressure because I'm not like, all right, I'm making a song right now. I'm like throwing paint against the wall for the first.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
And then there's another fade, and
It's
then like
instinctual.
there's another day where like maybe you will snap and you'll hit like a bunch of cool ideas for that song. And then there's another day where you like do a few and you feel like it's trash and like you're like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's like this art piece that evolves, and like at the end of the line, you know, you gotta it does come down to how it feels, but like, you know, even the approaches to how you make music is like a really interesting thing that I personally would attest. Like I would say a lot of the reason why I think my music got better is because my approach changed. If I was still doing it the same way, like, you know, I don't think I would be making this type of music and wouldn't sound like
You said
that.
you started freestyling over stuff, and it literally is like throwing shit against the wall.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like having like the courage and the confidence to throw shit against the wall, and then knowing like what is actually good out of all that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And it's a process, and it's not always easy, but
That's
it's made it a lot easier for me.
I read Anthony Kiedis' book from Red Hot Chili Peppers. He'd say that you know, when they wrote as a band and they couldn't like figure out what like where the song should go. Say they were like coming up. Come on, Steve. Seriously, he's like right by the wires. When they were like they can't figure out like where the bridge is gonna go. They're like, what instrumentally should happen in this bridge? They would like just go their separate way at like different corners of the room for 15 minutes, and they'd all come up with their own. They'd only have 15 minutes to come up with like what they think it should be, and then they'd come back together, and then they'd like share their ideas and they'd pick the best one.
Yeah.
So then 15 minutes, you have what the next thing is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of like being in a band back in the day. Is like you got to have 5 minds
I'm
together.
telling you, I get you're exactly right. And I achieved that through recording on the same beat in different days.
Yeah.
I'm in different moods.
Oh,
I'm in
it's so different every day.
I'm on different waves. Sometimes I'm fucked up. Sometimes sober. I just smoked or I'm whatever. You know, like sometimes I don't even remember what I did at all. You know, so like, you know, that's my version of a band. Like I actually do that exact thing. It's just like me from 4 different days.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then usually like I find some shit I like, and it's made it easier to get my ideas out. You know?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, hey, this was a nice little rabbit hole we went down. Do you have any closing statements?
Yeah, I mean we're
that was insane.
That was crazy. Did you catch that?
I don't think that's in frame. What
Can you zoom in on that? You'll be able to do a replay, but
I don't think you'll be able to see with the
I
plane
just
in the way.
threw it in there and it fucking yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
Whatever.
don't fuck it up. Don't fuck up the frame.
What was I saying? The you know, the podcast is the dope avenue for us to just stay connected, and we're, you know, trying to be respectful of the corona virus. In California, it's a fucking train wreck. So, you know, we're not doing guests, but I think we're getting close to that. And, you know, I think we're gonna try one next week with somebody in the bubble in the NBA. Maybe George, who's like a good friend of ours, who would give us some honest input on what's going on in there and how it's been. But we'll make it work. I mean, I'm gonna be in Utah. Maybe I'll be able to crank one out there. That'll be cool.
That's all we asked for.
Yeah.
Crank them out for us,
I'm gonna
Mike.
crank one out for damn sure.
Crank them out hard.
Been cranking them out here.
But you know, might be in Nashville. Maybe we get some special guests over there. So we'll see. We're just going. We're flying by the wayside.
This will be funny just down the line when the actual truth speaks itself. How long do you think you're going to be gone for?
I mean, I don't think. I don't think. I don't think. Given I'm coming off the heels of a long one, I don't think it's gonna be longer than 2 weeks.
Pause.
I feel like I've said a lot of questionably homosexual stuff here.
About that ride in, guys.
That's why they call it Sin City.
Dude, I'm fucking sweating my dick off. I'm out of here.
So, like, just throw a number out. What do you think? 4 days, 7 days, a week?
I think
7 days,
I think
a week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think.
That's a fair estimate.
Yeah, because I think I'll be in Utah for like a week, and then I might go to Nashville and might pop home for a second. You know.
Oh, in Rhode Island.
I mean, if I'm in Nashville, I'll
Yeah.
probably go up, and
Yep.
I gotta get tested for corona before I go up there, obviously. But
Yeah.
test me.
All right.
Don't test me, I'll pass it.
Blue, any final statements?
Sex